he wraps it and programs it for the treatment for 8 minutes. And within 8 minutes, I got up under my own power, boom, raised up, and I was able to walk pain-free. The burning, the stinging, the swelling, the inflammation, the redness was gone. Like nothing ever happened.
Wow.
In the first place. And I was like, okay, you got my attention. Like, this has never happened. This doesn't happen. Like, what is this? What is BEMER? What is PEMF?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good morning, Luis.
How are you?
Rocking steady, baby. Rocking steady.
All right, all right. Hey, for the people that don't know you, please introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Michel Longacre. I'm a chiropractor, doctor of chiropractic in Dallas, Texas. And I've been in practice 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Always here in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Right here in Dallas, Texas. Well, I mean, not all Dallas, Texas, but I've been around the state. Yeah.
Awesome. And what got you into chiropractor, and like what got your attention into that, or was it by accident or?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So this was 33 years ago. And I was involved in a very serious car accident and wrecked my life. It really did, because I mean, not only wrecked my car, but I wound up, in the hospital, and really with no referrals, no follow-ups, no checkups, no calls, just triage, just ER situation. And I was in an excruciating amount of pain. And golly, I was less left to my own devices to figure this out. And nothing was broken, nothing was bleeding. I wasn't going to die, anything like that. But the amount of pain that I was in was almost suicidal. Like, I wouldn't do that personally, but people would do that. And I've heard of situations. Anyway, it was an excruciating amount of pain. I don't want to go down that rabbit trail, but it was bad. And so, I left the ER, and I was given prescription medications, anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxers, and painkillers. And I was like, well, okay, this will help, maybe. And it did. But, the problem with that is, with pharmaceutical, medications, is you're walking around like a zombie. I mean, you're so drugged up, and yeah, you're out of pain, but you don't know what you're doing. And
you don't feel anything.
No. You're either asleep or you're zombie walking.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, it's like you can't function because you're on all these pain meds, muscle relaxers, anti-inflammatories. And so with that, I was like, oh no, I can't function. Like, you can't function, right? So I went to massage therapy, the only thing that I knew, and stretching, massage therapy. It helped temporarily, but not long term. So the massage therapist, she wound up referring me to a chiropractor. I was 23 years old. I'd never been to a chiropractor before in my life. And I was like, well, okay, I don't know what that is. I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't really know, and I've never experienced it for sure. So I was like, well, I'll try anything. And I wound up in a chiropractor's office for the first time in my life. I was 23, just out of the military, just out of the Army.
Oh, wow.
And So I wound up in a chiropractor's office for 3.5 months of rehab and chiropractic care, and turned my life around. And I was like, boom, okay, this is amazing. This is awesome. Not knowing what chiropractic was and how it worked, to I'm not only a patient and a success story, but I'm actually going to switch my major in college
Wow.
from physical therapy to chiropractic. And so that's how it happened. I mean, that's a brief story. I mean, there's a lot more details in that, but yeah, in a nutshell, that's what happened. I was a patient of chiropractic.
Wow. So just to give it a little more context, you were in the army, so you probably were in really good shape when that happened, and you were 23.
Yeah, I was
So
10 foot tall and bulletproof.
so to be in that kind of pain, it had to be like a pretty bad wreck.
I've got pictures of my car somewhere around, but yeah, it was almost a head-on collision.
Wow.
And yeah, I just ETS out of the service, and I was airborne too. I was airborne paratrooper. And so I jumped out of planes, and the joke now and back then, after I cleared, was like, man, I should have stayed in the military. I was safer. You get out in the civilian world, and it's just crazy. But yeah, I was in. Well, I thought I was in pretty good shape. I was certainly young, and I was an athlete. I played a lot of different sports, and obviously in the military, you got to be in shape and good shape to physically fit. And so, yeah, I mean, for sure, I was that was a major shock in my life, and so I was like, oh man, talk about throwing a monkey wrench into your plans.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know there's a lot of people out there. I treat patients every day that get in car accidents, and yeah, it just messes you up for life, or certainly for a long time. Hopefully not for life, but if it's not as bad. But anyway, that was my light bulb aha moment, and that's how I pursued a career, because I know that, hey, if I'm 23 and in physically fit, good physical condition, and I'm in this kind of shape after the accident, then how many millions of people are out there that can benefit from chiropractic care?
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know,
Especially the older you get, the harder it is to get better,
to
to
recover.
heal, to recover, correct. Yeah.
Recovery is huge. Regeneration, yeah. Flexibility, yeah.
So you mentioned that you wanted to go for physical therapy before, and then
Mhm.
you switched to chiropractor. What's the difference between those two?
Well, there is a lot of gray. There's a lot of crossover, and the reason. So back then, physical therapists were not doctors, and so and they're not allowed to do like spinal adjustments.
Mm.
And so that's what really made the difference in me, in my treatment, my rehab, is not only the physical therapy aspect of it, the rehab, the stretching, the strengthening, and the physical medicine, but the adjustments, the alignment, and the flexibility of the spine,
Mm-hmm.
taking pressure off the nerves, off the joints, off the receptors. And so, when I was under care, my doctor was like, okay, well, so you're 23. you're going to school. What are you going to do? I'm like, physical therapy. And then as time progressed and I was improving, my, quality of life and my pain was subsiding, I began to look at chiropractic in a different light. And he's like, well, you know what? You ought to just go to chiropractic school instead, because you can become a doctor, you can diagnose, and you have more flexibility in your treatment.
More tools.
Yeah, more tools and more credibility back then, especially because PTs, physical therapists, were not considered doctors. They are now, DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy. The programs have changed, but at the time that I was involved, in school in this accident, and then the results that I got, I was like, yeah, like, yeah, why would I not?
Yeah.
Right. And so, so that's the difference. That was the difference for me back then. And so I was like, roughly the same amount of time, education wise, probably a little bit more actually with chiropractic. I probably took more of a hit on the time that it took, but just the fact that, hey, you graduate, you get a doctorate's degree, and you can not only treat but diagnose, and you have more tools. And so I was like, yeah, I'm in all the way, 100%.
If you don't mind me asking, what was exactly that was hurting you that it took a long time for you to get well? Was it like your spine, your arms, what was the issue?
It was my neck and my upper back and headaches. So right in here, right in the center of, like, in between your shoulder blades, like when you stretch out or you lean forward and you feel that tension, that pressure, like right in between your shoulder blades, like, yeah, right there. That's what got me. And so I also had MRIs done on my neck and wound up finding out that I have, 3 herniated discs in my neck, blew out on the right side. So what happened was, and how I herniated the discs in my neck, was my head hit the roof of the car, the ceiling, or the roof of the car, and my neck and my upper back just like an accordion. Because that kinetic energy, I was seatbelted. I had my seatbelt on, and when the guy hit me, both, like, I was going through the light, and then he hit me the left front side of my car, and all that kinetic energy just shot me through up to the roof of the car, and my head hit and just went, bam. That. And I don't know how it blew out on the right side. Just, I guess, probably the position of where my head was at that time. And it's just like, just bam, just blew out. And so I'm dealing with herniated disc in my neck since 93. Yeah.
That's when it happened, 93?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit on that? Like, what's the tissue in between your disc, and how does that work? And how does that, can that get back to normal?
Okay, so you have, I wish I had my model, but okay, you have your bones, your spine, right? Okay. And then in between your, what's called the vertebrae, the spinal vertebrae, you have these discs, and they're called, they're shock absorbers, essentially. Okay. And it's a gelatinous substance and fluid filled. So you have this crisscross fiber, annular fibers on the outside, and then you have this jelly type substance on the inside. So another way to look at it is take a jelly donut or a cream filled donut, right? And you have that donut in between your hands representing the spine. And then as your spine moves, that gel flexes and bends and moves as well. So it's a shock absorber. And when you have blunt force trauma like that, that is exactly how those discs, those annular fibers on the outside of the disc tear open, and then that gel just is, what's the word? Spewed out.
Wow,
Leaks.
so it actually tear, and the liquid inside of it came out.
Mm-hmm. And then there, depending on the nature and the severity of the injury, there's different levels of herniation, protrusion, bulging. There's, if it's a full-on herniation, then all the fibers on the outside that hold that gel in place are absolutely just ripped open, and that gel leaks out, spews out. And then there's protrusion, and then there's a bulge or like a swelling. It's like, well, the disc material on the outside, the fibers haven't completely torn all the way out, but the interior fibers are torn, and that gel is starting to leak out, and it's like a blister. I'll say it that way. So it's a pretty serious condition, because you also have your spinal nerves that come out from your spinal column, and that disc is right there. So that can create some issues with your nerves, depending on the location of the disc, herniation or bulge or whatever.
And that probably can explain the headaches.
Well, the headaches, yeah, that's part of it. Absolutely, 100%. And then also the headaches come from the curvature of my neck. Okay. So in a normal situation, your neck should have let's see, there we go, like a reverse C-shaped curve. Okay. And then your upper back curves like that. So you got this. And just to go off on a little tangent, when you have a curve, you ever look at a bridge and the underpinning of the bridge is curved?
Right.
That's because there's more strength. It's more stability, right? So
Correct.
same thing with your neck, your spine. So you have these curves that give your spine stability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my case, because of the accident, my neck has this curve, then it has this curve. Trying to get that in the visual there. So I have this S-shaped curve in my neck that has really messed up my biomechanics.
And that was because you didn't have the fluids in between your disc.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, the fluid's still there, but it's partially leaking out.
Mm-hmm.
But also just the physics of the accident. When your head like just hits the roof of the car and your spine compresses, then it's basically like a bent frame on a car, on a vehicle. When you wreck a vehicle and you bend the frame, you're not getting that back.
Right.
That strength and that stability. It's done. It's cooked. Right. So, and then you have all the musculature in your neck and your upper back that's responsible for stability and movement of your head, posture, all that. So the muscles in my neck and my upper back are constantly grabbing and pulling to keep my head up and mobile, right? So they're constantly firing. Well, I wouldn't say 24/7, but all the waking hours of the day. So the biomechanics of my neck, especially, well, my upper back too, are just destroyed.
Wow.
And chiropractic is the adjustments and the therapy and the recovery equipment that I have is the only thing that's kept me going this whole time. So
let's clear up some myths that that people have out there with chiropractors, right? So usually when you hear that, people say, oh, they're just popping your bones, kind of like when you do it with your hands or things like that. What is exactly going on, and how did it fix your neck now that you have the experience and you can explain that? Before, when it happened, when you were going through it and you were the patient, you didn't really understand what was going on, and now that you understand and you went through it, how was your experience looking back? How did that fix your spine, not just popping your bones?
Yeah. So that popping or cracking, as people say, pop my back, crack my neck, that is a pressure or gas release in between the joints. Okay, so it's synovial fluid. It's called synovial fluid, which is an oil. I'll say it that way, in between the joints. So you have your spinal vertebrae, one on top of the other, and then you have your disc in the middle. But on the sides, you have where the joint is. So the vertebrae line up the joints like that. Okay, they're called facet joints. I don't want to get too technical here, but they're called facets. And when you adjust the spine and you move those joints, the facet joints, it creates a negative pressure inside, and that's where that cavity, we call it, it's a cavitation. That's where that noise comes from. That, when you adjust the neck or the back. So it's just a cavitation. So similar to, it's pressurized fluid or pressurized gas. When you open up a soft drink and it's carbonated, you hear that, right? That's releasing nitric oxide,
right,
in the air. So in the joints, it's the same thing. It's a fluid exchange. It's a gas exchange.
Is that a good thing or neutral?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a good thing in the sense that, okay, now, because movement is the key, Luis. Movement is the key. That's what I have found out over the years of practice and 9 years in school. That's the key. So, and it's not necessarily about hearing that cavitation or that pop or that crack. And because I have patients that come in and I adjust them, and sometimes I don't hear that cavitation. And in their mind, they're like, oh, it didn't move. Like, oh, my neck hurts, my back hurts. I didn't hear the pop. I didn't hear the crack. They never say cavitation. They just always say pop or crack, right? And I'm like, I always correct them. It's like, no, we don't pop bones here. We don't crack necks. We adjust, and you hear cavitation. Anyway, so it's not about creating that cavitation, but it's more about creating that movement and that flexibility in the joint. So the joint doesn't always cavitate, but people think like, well, if my bones didn't crack or cavitate, then I did get adjusted. I'm like, no, because I always feel for the joint play in the spine and before and after. So, okay, when I'm what's called palpating, or I'm feeling the spine, then I can tell what segments are locked up and not moving. And then after the adjustment, I check it again. It's like, oh, okay, I get that movement, I get that joint play. So that's what it's all about, and that's how it's helped me over the years. And thousands, probably, I don't know, 25 years worth of patience in my experience. That's how it works. And so you got a lot of different joint receptors in the facet joints that monitor and give the brain feedback to motion, pain, just all kinds of information. So it's not only about alignment, but it's about movement and feedback from that joint to the brain and back. A lot of neurology in this.
I would assume that another reason to get all those things moving is so you can allow more blood flow, and that's how it generates more of that tissue, or allows that tissue to heal, I'm assuming. So you can, that's why you want to like move those bones so they can have more blood flow, and it can heal better, I'm guessing. I'm not a doctor, but it's just like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. That's how it works.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, at the bird's eye view, that's what it is. Yeah, you're getting blood flow to and from. You're also getting nerve signals to and from. And so you got pressure sensors, like when you take your hand or your finger and you press on your hand, you can feel that, right? But if there's no feedback from your hand or your finger to the brain and back, you won't be able to feel that. Right. And so, yeah. So yes, it's circulation, but it's also nerve information.
Would you recommend anybody who hasn't had any, or they just feel fine, would it be recommended to go see a chiropractor just for a regular checkup, like every 6 months or so? Or is it just when you're in pain and you know something is wrong when you go see the chiropractor?
It's really, well, sometimes it's about pain because it depends on the situation. But at the end of the day, when you boil it down, it's really not about pain at all. It's about function. Okay. So with my patients, once they're done with their care, I highly recommend that they come in once a month for an adjustment, alignment, movement, adjustment. It's like taking care of your teeth. Like if you don't floss, you don't brush, you don't do all the things that you do to maintain your chiclets, your teeth, right? Then yeah, they're going to rot and fall out. Or decay. And so we talk a lot about spinal decay, because if you have a segment that's not moving properly, that's not functioning, then you're not getting feedback from the brain, or from the joint to the brain and back. You're not getting that blood flow, right? You're not getting the nerve signals. And so over time, that segment or that area, and whatever that segment controls, that part of the body is going to decay, and your spine is going to decay. And that leads to arthritis. Quality of life.
Is arthritis, are you able to to help that once it has started, or if there's no way back once you get it? It's kind of like something
Well,
permanent.
That's a tricky question, really, but it's really not. I mean, okay, so I'll put it to you this way: you can't stop it. Like once you have, yeah, and I'm talking about osteoarthritis, degenerative. I'm not talking about rheumatism or any kind of autoimmune conditions or anything like that. I'm talking more about degenerative arthritis, osteoarthritis. You can't really reverse it. So if you have a degenerative disc it's supposed to be this big, the space in between the bones, but because you have a degenerative disc, now over time it's this big. So there's a reduced amount of space in between there.
Mm-hmm.
You can adjust until the cows come home, right? You're not going to increase that disc space through an adjustment. Okay. So once that disc is on its way to cooked, once it's done, it's done. There's no adjustment in the world that can, oh, okay, well, if I do this adjustment, I'm going to take that disc space from here to here. Not going to happen. So once you got that, you got it. However, you can manage and maintain what you have before it's bone on bone through the adjustments. And you can still impact circulation, feedback, neural feedback, and all those receptors in those joints, the pressure, the pain, all those different receptors that you have.
Just to be clear, I just want to make sure, because again, I'm not a doctor, so I just want to make sure all the things that I'm saying is based on a lot of family members that been sick or are sick, and they're going through the things that I see. So arthritis, isn't that inflammation in between the joints?
Well, it can cause inflammation, yes, for sure.
But it's also diminishing the amount of, I don't know what's called. It's not cartilage, right? But it's what's in between the joints. It's also diminishing. Is that what that means? That okay?
Yeah. So if we're talking about the disc, like degenerative disc disease, that's diminishing the space, the disc size. Another way to look at it, think of a marshmallow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you take a full marshmallow and then you squish it, so now you've diminished the size of that marshmallow. I know it's a silly analogy, but that's about what the disc is.
So the reason I'm saying is because I have a family member and she has arthritis, and if you can see her fingers, her knuckles, they look very swollen. So I'm just thinking in my head, how is that diminishing? I guess that's diminishing, but what's swallowing? What's the inflammation coming from?
Well, then also you have the bone that changes the nature of the bone. So then you have, like in the joint, in the knuckles, or even in the spine, because of arthritic conditions, biomechanical conditions, then those joints, whether it's in the fingers, hands, elbows, spine, they become weak and unstable. So then the body recognizes that as, okay, we've got a weak segment, we've got a weak joint, so we're going to produce more bone and deposit where it's weak. And that's what happens. And then over time, if there's nothing done about it, then in the spine you get these bone spurs, and in the fingers, in the hands, you get the swollen knuckles and the big knuckles, right? Because that's bone being deposited in that area to shore up or strengthen that joint. So,
what can we do to prevent that?
Well, diet, like what you eat. Okay, there's a lot of inflammatory foods out there, like processed foods, all the junk foods that we eat. That all has inflammatory properties. Also, sometimes you can't prevent it because it's blunt trauma, it's accidents, injuries, sports related injuries, car accidents, whatnot, falls, slips and falls. When it ices and snows here in Texas, like once a year, maybe twice, and you fall, just injuries. Well, that's why they're called accidents, right? You don't know it's coming. You can't prevent that. But you can help with it afterwards. So, yeah, diet is a big component. What you eat, what you drink is a big component. How you take care of your body. Maintaining a good physical fitness, stretching.
You look like you're in really good shape. What do you recommend? What's your diet look like, or what do you recommend your clients, either what to eat or what to stay away from? What do you recommend?
Well, I'll tell you what I do is intermittent fasting is one thing that I do, and that helps you not only physically but mentally. What the fasting does is it recalibrates your mind, your brain, to think, well, you know what? Now I'm a little crazy. I've done a fast for like 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called a Daniel fast. And we had no animal products for 3 weeks. All we could eat was raw vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and things like that. And it was hard. That was so tough. It was difficult. And because I like meat, I got a sweet tooth. I love chocolate, and I couldn't eat those things. I used to love bread and pastas, and it's like, give me the fettuccine, give me the spaghetti, give me the, all the stuff, right? The Italian. But after that fast, I noticed that I didn't have the desire for a lot of those foods that I ate before, so I never went back to them. Or some foods I was like, okay, occasionally, but it really changed not only physically but mentally my dependency on certain things. And so, intermittent fasting is a key factor there. Drink plenty of water. Like, I know people have an issue about drinking water. It's like, water. Like, okay. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I'm the weird one. I crave water. I do. And I know there's other people out there on this planet that crave water like I do. But then there's people that are like, water. Like, what? No. All right. Is there you make tea and lemonade with water, so does that count? It's like, oh my God. We're gonna have this conversation, really? Yeah. So I cut out soft drinks almost entirely. Like, I haven't had a Coke or a Pepsi or any kind of sugary, soft drink in years. I used to drink them when I was a kid. It's like, guzzle them down. Like, when you're young, you're in your teens, like, you can handle it.
Right.
When you get older, it's like, oh, wow, all that I did before, it's catching up.
Yeah, especially if you look at the amount of, it's not even sugar, it's corn syrup. The amount of corn syrup that they put on these Cokes on a little can, you'll have 38 grams of sugar. And just to put it on perspective, I think 12 grams of sugar is like a teaspoon, right? So you're drinking 3, 4 teaspoons in one little sip of Coke. So it's crazy. It's great, and that's just on a Coke, you know. So if you drink that for breakfast or for lunch, forget about what you're gonna have for dinner. That's another. That's insane. That's a lot of sugar. So I think for me, reading the labels has helped me a lot. You know.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the sugar, talking about the sugar, it's like, okay, go to your pantry, take out that 5 pound or whatever bag of sugar that you have, go to your drawers and take a tablespoon and just dig up, 2 or 3 tablespoons of sugar and just down it. That's what you're drinking.
And
So
and then Coke has caffeine, sugar, and it's not even sugar, it's corn syrup, so it's even worse.
it's
Because
even worse.
it hits your what is that called? Insulin.
Oh, your insulin spike, yeah.
Even faster than regular sugar.
Your
So
kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, your digestive tract, your
oh my
stomach,
goodness. Yes.
your brain,
It affects
Alzheimer's.
everything. And there's no upside on the sugar intake. It doesn't have any it doesn't have any good calories, it doesn't have any vitamins, it doesn't have anything positive towards your body.
Oh, come on, Luis. It tastes so good. And I'm just like, what? No, no. But yeah, I started reading labels years, probably decades ago. Like, read the label; it matters. It counts. Obviously, the less the ingredients, the better it is for you. And if you can't even pronounce it, it's concocted in some laboratory. Like, I remember going through college and cooking up stuff in organic chemistry. It's like, all right, we're going to take this, whatever it was, and we're going to mix it with that and whatever that was, and let's see the explosion. you know, and it's just like, oh snap, that's what we're eating and drinking, and that's what's happening inside our bodies. Explosions, because of all the chemical interactions. It's like, jeez. Meanwhile, the beaker's on fire over here, and that's what's happening in your body,
Well, and especially now that I have kids, it infuriates me that a lot of these foods have a lot of dyes to get the attention of the kids, because the kids doesn't know any better, so they see like a colorful popsicle, and they don't know it has yellow 8
Number 5,
and blue
yeah, 8,
40 and red 40 and blue whatever, and it's just chemicals just to make the food look more colorful, more appealing, when it's not necessary at all.
It's marketing, man. It's
just
marketing.
It's
marketing. It's insane, dude. I mean, it is just, it is insane. And it's not cool. And so, we talk about this industry, that industry, but let's look at the food industry. A lot of documentaries on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and there's resources out there.
There are now, but
it
was very hard, like 10, 20 years ago, to have any of this information out there. So I think it's getting better. I think people are being more cautious, and more people are reading labels, and and they're paying more attention. So that's good.
Well, dude, that's what I want. I want a more educated, more informed society. You know,
Right.
there's
And
strength
I
in
think these conversations here, it helps to spread that, you know?
yeah. So yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. So those are the things that everything in moderation. I mean, it's an old cliche, it's an old quote, but it's so true. Like, okay, you can have this, you can have that, but don't overboard with it. Don't go overboard. In fact, and that's what intermittent fasting has taught me is I don't have a dependency on certain foods, so I just don't go back to it. And yeah, I eat clean. Of course, I'm still an athlete as well, and I'm in the healthcare business. So yeah, I better practice what I preach. You know, like who's going to believe me? I'm fat and overweight, and I look like hell. Like, yeah, do that. Don't.
Don't do what I do. Just do that.
Yeah, do what I say, not what I do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's what it boils down to for me is just clean living, clean eating, and just in moderation. So maybe eat for your blood type, maybe.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, if anyone takes sugar out of their food, I don't think there's any negative consequence for anybody out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We're not saying nothing crazy like, carnivore diet or keto diet or these extremes where, you don't eat this or you don't eat that. It's like, no, just don't eat sugar. It's just like one ingredient and you'll be fine without it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so, sugar's killer, man. That's what we call it, the white death.
Yeah.
White death. So yeah, sugar's a huge deal. I mean, that industry, and sugar's in a lot of our foods.
Hidden in a lot of foods.
Yep. So an informed society is what I want. What I'd like. So yeah, that's why conversations like this is tremendous to have this. So thank you for the opportunity, Luis. Love it.
No, thank you for being here. And another thing that I don't want to forget, we need most touch on, it's the you have this artifact that when I went to go see you, because you treated me before, I got on and I felt amazing.
Oh, the equipment?
The equipment.
Yeah.
And I want you to share that as well, because I think it's important, and also explain how it works and what it does, because he helped me. So the a part of this podcast is to have a good time, but also to bring value to people listening out there, and give them tools that may be able to help them and who can use this and what it is.
We're talking about the PEMF, right?
Correct.
The BEMER PEMF. Yeah. All right. So that story is, how did I find out about it? This was 2017. I was at a competition in Weatherford and I injured my ankle. And it was pretty bad. It was a delayed onset pain. Like I injured the ankle, but I was able to move on and complete the competition. But I tell you what, like 4 to 5 hours later in the day, my ankle was in my left ankle, left leg was on fire like it had never been before. I was, oh my gosh. There I go, using the excruciating amount of pain phrase again. And I didn't know what to do. I did all the things that a doctor would do, as far as, I even took some NSAIDs, which I normally don't do, like some Advil or Aleve or something, whatever it was, whatever I had. I was like, oh my gosh, I used all the equipment that I had at home, the TENS unit, the ice, the compression, the elevation, ultrasound. Nothing touched it. I was like, oh. So I wound up meeting with someone later that night who introduced me to this PEMF, or pulse electromagnetic frequency equipment. And he said it was BEMER. I'm like, oh, you mean the car, right? He's like, no. It's always been a joke. And it's like, no, BEMER is, not the car. It's pulsed electromagnetic frequency. I'm like, okay, what is that? And so he brought it out. He shared, educated me on it, and he wrapped this strap around my ankle and programmed it for 8 minutes. It's about the size of a weight belt. So it's a long, lean, weight belt about that big around, but it's about that long. And he wraps it, curls it around my ankle, programs it for 8 minutes. And let me tell you that the pain was so bad that my wife at the time, she had to drop me off in the front of the hotel where we met. And then she went and parked. Like, normally, I'm not the guy that I'm going to be, okay, drop me off at the front. Like, normally I'd be driving. I couldn't drive. Okay.
Wow.
And then even at that, it's like, okay, well, I'll just walk in from the parking lot. No, I couldn't even do that. So I was limping so bad, I was hobbled. And that's how bad the pain was. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm Army, military, veteran, war veteran at that. I've been through a lot. And so I just say that to
give some context.
Give some context. Like, I'm not that pansy guy, right? And so that's how bad it was. And then he wraps it and programs it for the treatment for 8 minutes. And within 8 minutes, I got up under my own power, boom, raised up, and I was able to walk pain-free. The burning, the stinging, the swelling, the inflammation, the redness was gone. Like, nothing ever happened.
Wow.
In the first place. And I was like, okay, you got my attention. Like, this has never happened. This doesn't happen. Like, what is this? What is BEMER? What is PEMF? So I that's how I found out about the BEMER. And that was 9 years ago. And I later found out that it's a full body mat about the size of a yoga mat, and you lay on it like you did over here. And what this does is, because your trillions of cells in your body rely on a charge, just like batteries. So every one of your cells have a charge, and what this PEMF does is helps to restore that charge to your cells and improve circulation, improve recovery time, which is huge. And it only costs you 8 minutes twice a day, right? So I'm like, well, I'm lying in bed, first thing in the morning. Yeah, sometimes I spring up out of bed, right? But I can like lay here for 8 minutes and lay on this BEMER to help recharge my batteries. Most of us have cell phones, right? And so think of it as putting your body on a charge, cell phone charger, right? And so let's say your battery on your phone is down to like 10%. You place it on that charge pad, and it charges up to 100%. That's what the BEMER does for your body. And so improving circulation, improving venous, blood going out and returning, venous return, oxygen utilization, energy or ATP, what we call ATP production, adenosine triphosphate, is cellular fuel. So your cells need a charge, but they also need fuel to function and to operate. That's what the BEMER does, is helps to improve your fuel storage or oxygen utilization in your body, and it helps you recover faster, a lot faster. So in a nutshell, that's what the BEMER does, and I've been promoting it for 9 years, around personally, professionally, with my patients that come into the clinic, and they have low energy, they can't sleep at night, they have pain, they have this, they have that, they have certain conditions maybe. Now I can't tell you that, hey, BEMER treats XYZ condition. Can't say that. But it does significantly improve circulation and ATP production, oxygen utilization. Your body may have the oxygen that it needs, but is it being utilized? Huge.
So you mentioned that you used it when you had an injury. What would be the recommendation for a normal person?
Yeah, because I'm not normal. That is true. No, but I am. I'm a normal, regular guy, but in order for your body to function at full strength, and I mean, I'm talking when you improve circulation, you improve every function in the body, every system. There's 12 systems in your body, and so I use it every day, twice a day. And then the unit that I have has a special program or a sleep mode. And when I found out about the one sleep program, I suffer from anxiety and insomnia. I couldn't sleep for for crap. Can I say crap? I couldn't sleep for years, for over a decade. My sleep quality was terrible. And then after the injury, and then the one treatment, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's got a sleep program too." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, come on." So I eventually jumped on the sleep mode, and that was the first time in over a decade that I had slept through the night peacefully.
Wow.
And helped to restore my quality of sleep and get that REM sleep that I need, that everybody needs. And so improving circulation, and then at night too with the sleep program, it's power washing all your organs from the day
before.
From the day before. Yeah, the exhaust or the metabolic waste, right? So this helps improve waste elimination.
But so what I meant to say earlier was, like, they have to go see you to use this machine, correct? Or how can people get their hands on these machines? Do you because you have to set it up for the person, correct? So how does it work? How can someone find you and be able to get into this machine, and how often should they go see you?
Yeah, they would have to see me. They come to the clinic or come to the house for. I highly recommend a demo and education on how this can benefit them and their family. And so I'd recommend coming to the clinic like 3 days a week at least. And it's an 8-minute treatment, and that 8 minutes is going to charge up your blood and your cells for at least the next 12 to 18 hours. So when people that have their own units, their own equipment at home, they use it twice a day, then it's going to cover them for 24 hours, right? But for those that were like, yeah, I'm not sold on it yet, I'd like to come give it a shot and give it a try. Come in 3 days a week, or you can rent them as well. Rent them for a month or 2 months or whatever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
There's a rental program, there's a usage program, and then there's also, they're available for purchase if they want. So that's how that works. Yeah. So 8 minutes in the clinic, or 16 minutes when they rent it or they have their own. 16 minutes a day. Good for the whole family.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked on your story, how you became a chiropractor, and on nutrition, on the BEMER, which is I don't remember what it's technically called,
PEMF.
PEMF.
Pulsed electromagnetic frequency. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
It's a mouthful. So we just say
it's a lot easier just to say BEMER, right?
Yeah. And then people think the car, so it's like, oh no. So then we just say PEMF.
Yes. So I mean, it just just education. Eventually, it's a mouthful, but once people get it and understand, they'll understand what other people are saying. Right now, maybe a lot of people listening to this are not aware of what that is. They're going to start searching it, Googling it, and become more aware of these kind of tools. So before we go, anything else that you want to share with people that you think it will be useful to them besides the nutrition and the chiropractor and the BEMER?
Yeah, definitely all those, a good clean lifestyle, with the nutrition and drinking more water. If you got to flavor the water, you can flavor it, with electrolytes. Prayer, man. I'm a Christian guy. I'm a believer, and you got to spend time, quality time with Jesus, and that's paramount to me.
I agree. Yeah.
You're Christian too. We've never talked about that.
I'm Catholic. I'm going through Lent, and you're supposed to give something up, kind of like to spiritually get closer to God, and fasting is one of those things, right? So what I'm doing for Lent, or basically for 40 days that represent the 40 days that Jesus was in the desert, is I'm not eating any sugar or any grains.
Okay.
So basically just protein and vegetables and fruits and things like that. And it's tough. It's tough because you realize how much crap you eat when you can't have it.
That's right.
You don't take in consideration like that little tortilla that you have for dinner, or that bread, or all those things are basically just empty carbs, empty calories that don't have any vitamins. But it's crazy how your body craves those things, and like you said, eventually after you quit those things for a certain amount of time, usually to me, after the second week, you stop craving them as much, and you kind of like overcome that, and then you become like more clear in your mind, in your head. You have more peace, and it definitely helps. It
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Starve what you don't want, feed what you do want.
Right.
But yeah, definitely spend time in prayer and meditation. Connect with your creator, Jesus and God, and 100%. 100%. Every day I
And
do.
I think that's a great message to leave this podcast today. So, hey, Doc, thank you so much for being here.
You bet.
And I'll put all your information on the description below.
Yeah, I give my email and website if people want to, reach out to me and connect on certain topics or whatever. They'll have it. So I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
You bet. I'm a man.
All right.
God bless.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to The Daily Grind. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.